Hello, everyone. This is Misha Houston, and I'm here to do my review for If Loving You Is Wrong. Tonight's episode is entitled The Papers, and I thought it was a very, very good episode. I appreciated it. It was very entertaining, very funny, and just like in the haves and the have nots, I am very much intrigued by the revelation that we got at the end of the episode. Very, very intrigued, and I'm very excited to be doing this review, even though I am very late in doing so. But I thought this was a very, very good episode, and I appreciated it. And I will do my very best to try to get the videos up here a little bit sooner. It's just been a busy week. As I said, the episode is called The Papers, and it was a great episode. And here we go. The first group of people we go to is Kelly, Lucien, and the detective. Kelly realizes that Travis is dead. She goes to speak, but Lucien quiets her. The detective wants her to carry on and says to Lucien, "Since you are a friend, you can't be here. She is under arrest." Kelly says she needs him, but Lucien is ordered out of the room. He tells her that he is going to make a few phone calls, and she is not to say a word. The detective asks her a series of questions. She says repeatedly, "I want my lawyer." The detective threatens her with jail, and Kelly considers talking to get out. But the questions that he asks her only inflames her to the point where she screams at him, "I want my lawyer." She asks for Ian, but he tells her that Ian dropped her and received a call about that this morning. He tries to get the story from her, saying that she is among friends and they are trying to help her. She challenges that by saying, "You are the same department that I called to do something about Travis and you never did." She makes it clear she is not speaking without a lawyer. The questions finally stop and he says that you will be placed in jail. She backs up, worried, and is afraid of what may happen, but she has no choice. It is off to jail she goes. This police department is a joke. She pleaded with those police officers to help her, and now that a murder has been committed, two murders have been committed, she is the prime suspect. If she were going to commit a murder, why would she constantly call the police? Why would a murderer want to talk to the police? Why would she go down there time after time after time, trying to get some help when she's apparently killed two people? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The next two people we go to is Lucien and the detective. The detective thinks that Lucien has been coaching her, but Lucien says that this is the second time that she has been arrested. She knows not to talk. He makes jokes on how Kelly can wield a knife and about stabbing people in a bathtub. But Lucien knows Kelly, is friends with her, and knows that she would never do anything like this. The detective tells Lucien that Ian Glenn is off the case, but Lucien knows that he has a history of lying. Lucien knows Kelly is innocent. He also knows Travis and knows that he is a bad news type of person. The detectives have reports on both them and Kelly, and he thinks that this is going to look very bad on Kelly. Lucien wants him to look closer, which is what Kelly said to Marcie, if I'm not mistaken. in the episode entitled Look Closely. And it is not what it appears to be. The detective says that if she is so innocent, she should want to talk and let me help her. Lucien knows that his wife goes to Travis's family's church and feels that he is biased. Lucien says Travis is destroying her life, even from the grave. And, but she will only speak to him, but not without a lawyer present. The detective says, suit yourself, and walks away. I mean, as I said before, this police department is a joke. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's the goof of all times. The next three people we go to is Brad, Randall, and Alex. Brad goes to examine Randall's house. Randall sees this and looks out of his high window and orders him away and threatens to call the police. Brad could care less and goes back inside of his house. While Alex is folding clothes, Brad starts to viciously accuse Alex of lying. He is completely fed up with her. She tells him repeatedly, I did not go over there and I did not tell him that Marcie was pregnant. He questions her, asking, how did he know that I left this house last night? Randall is making claims that she is the one who told him, but she reminds him of his past behavior. Brad says that he doesn't know him, but he's only getting to know him. She thinks that because she is his wife, she should automatically get a free pass and he should automatically believe her, but he reminds her of her past behavior. She tries to hide behind the crying baby in the hopes that the barrage of questions will stop, but Brad comments, oh, it's Randall's baby. She says, is this what it's going to be like? You angry with me and not believing with me and getting more and more upset every time he says something? Brad, is just getting to the end of this. He says that he can't do this anymore and he's giving serious consideration to moving out of the house completely. Then she says that this is going to be so confusing for the kids to see, but Brad is completely unmoved by that. He can't and doesn't trust her anymore. She pleads with him to believe her, but he doesn't and walks back outside. I said this last week. Brad never really should have went back there in the first place. I mean, I remember him saying in a previous episode that he wanted some peace in his life. Well, Brad, you're not going to find peace with Randall and Alex, the creators of the chaos. It's just not going to happen. I mean, he was really naive. I know he wanted to, try and, put up a brave front, but come on now. I mean, it's ridiculous. In my opinion, he never should have went back there in the first place. But hey, this is how we roll on this show. The next three people we go to is Esperanza, Lucien, and Stephen. Esperanza comes in asking about Kelly. Stephen sees her and walks to her, but Essie gets a call and then she leaves again without acknowledging him. Then Lucien teases Stephen and asks him veiled questions about him and Esperanza with a little smirk on his face. Stephen feigns ignorance, but Lucien knows the score. He sees that he was eye sexting her and showing up on his motorcycle to impress her. He continues to feign ignorance for Essie's sake. Then the conversation turns to Kelly. Lucien asks Stephen for the name of a good lawyer since Ian backed out. Stephen is willing to make a few phone calls. Lucien hopes Ian will change his mind. Then Essie comes back and Lucien tells her about Kelly and that Travis is dead and that Kelly is in jail. She wants to help by making phone calls for Kelly, but Lucien teases her and says, why don't you and Stephen talk? After Lucien leaves, Stephen asks Essie out to dinner. She thinks him insensitive for asking at such a bad time, but he can't help it. He wants to see her. She throws a silly, stupid little tantrum, and then once Eddie sees them two together, she runs off. I said this, some time ago. I think that Esperanza is a very silly character. She's sitting up here trying to cover up this relationship, but yet she was the one who told Natalie. Everybody knows Esperanza. It's no big deal. And if she makes it a big deal, it'll only make people more curious about it. The best thing she could do for herself is to just play it cool and acknowledge that she is with Stephen. That's the best thing that she could do for herself. If she would acknowledge it, there'll be a little reaction to it, and then people will go on with their lives. But if she makes a big stink of it, you know, people are going to be more and more curious. Now, the next two people we go to is Stephen and Eddie. Stephen and Eddie get into it over Esperanza. Another war over Esperanza. Stephen makes it clear to Ed that he and Esperanza are together, which displeases Ed greatly. Ed threatens Stephen, saying that if he sees Stephen in the house where Mika lives again, it will be a wrap for him. But Stephen is not intimidated in the least. He thinks that Eddie will do nothing about it, but Eddie begs to differ. Ed thinks that he doesn't know him as well as he thinks he does, because if he did know him, he'd be running. Stephen said Ed is crazy because of the cocaine and the chaos, but he says he's crazy too. But his craziness is coupled with brilliance and patience. Ed thinks that Stephen is a very funny and stupid man, but Stephen brings up what Larry and Randall did to him, and he says, "Hey Ed, that is what is funny." Stephen makes jokes about Ed being the toast in some man's toaster, and that everyone in the station knows about it. Stephen suggests that he directs his anger towards something or someone else. Ed thinks that Stephen being an FBI agent is the only reason and the only thing that's keeping him alive right now. But Stephen, all but laughs in his face. He teases Ed about his gelled hairstyle, but Ed is unmoved by that. Ed makes it clear that he will shoot him one day. Stephen tells him to go back to the old station across the street. You are not wanted here. And Ed leaves. Eddie and Stephen and Esperanza. Oh, God, another silly war over that girl. Who cares? I know I certainly don't. Now, the next group of people we go to is Marcie, Brad, and Ian, who is on the phone. Marcie drives Brad's truck back into his house. She stays in the car for a few minutes to talk to Ian. She has the contracts ready, and Ian wants her to bring them to his office. She is hesitant to bring them there because she is afraid of running into Larry, but Ian says that Larry is in court. She agrees to drop them off. Then she goes to talk to Brad, and he tells her about his troubles with Alex. He feels like she has lied to him about going over to his house and the revelation of Marcie's pregnancy. Now, Marcie knows that it was Larry who told Randall the truth about the pregnancy, but she is in no hurry to correct him. Randall still thinks it is Brad's baby. Marcie warns him not to trust Randall's word, but Brad can't trust Alex either, even though she has adamantly denied it. Brad says that he is pissed and is ready to move out of that house. He floats the idea of him going back to the apartment, which makes Marcie very happy. And she is all fired, all fired up and agrees with that. Marcie says that she missed him so much, but he retorts, saying that you threw me out. She says that it was a mistake. Brad is pleased that Alex didn't inform Randall that Marcie is carrying his child and hopes that she will be divorced by that time. By that time he learns the whole truth. Marcie confesses that she had to fire Larry, but doesn't state the real reason. She just wants to get out of there before Randall sees them and starts harassing them again. So they decide to leave together. Let me say this about Marcie. She's happy that he's moving out, but I think she should have told Brad that Alex was telling the truth. I think it may backfire on her later on. And another thing, she's making dates and, planning to spend time with Ian, but yet she hasn't entirely let go of Brad. I mean, which man does she want? Which man does she want? Who knows? The next two people we go to is Lucien and Ian. Lucien calls Ian and tries to convince him not to abandon Kelly. Ian says that Larry, his boss, was adamantly against it, and Ian is going to recommend her to another attorney and wants to text the number to Lucien. Lucien is unsure about the new lawyer, but Ian assures him that he is a very good attorney. Lucien asks about his fee, but Ian says that he will do it pro bono and there will be no charge to Kelly. He certainly better not charge Kelly because he's letting her be railroaded. I mean, it kind of just felt like a guilt prize, not something that he's doing out of the decency and kindness of his heart. Lucien then asks, will you at least come by and tell Kelly yourself? And Ian agrees to that. He apologizes to Lucien, and Lucien apologizes as well, and they hang up the phone. The next two people that we go to is Kelly and Esperanza. Kelly is pacing in her jail cell alone when Essie comes in to see her. Kelly is freaking out and wants her lawyer. Kelly wants to know where Ian is. And Esperanza tells her that Lucien is working on it. Kelly wanted to be home by now for justice. And Essie offers to pick him up, from school. Kelly is aghast by all this and unsure what to say to him, but Essie assures her that he will be fine. Kelly doesn't want Justice to know that she has been put into prison, and Essie promises her not to ever tell him. Kelly thinks that she is not in the wrong, that this man abused her. And then she starts running off at the mouth about her shooting Travis. But Essie quickly quiets her. Essie warns her not to speak to anyone about this, especially the other prisoners. Kelly, finally realizes, the state that she is in, that she is in prison. And she remarks that it keeps getting worse. She apologizes for putting everyone through this. She says that she shot Travis, but Essie excuses her, saying that he provoked her every step of the way, which he did. Esperanza tells her to calm down and that they will try to figure their way out of this. She says that she has to leave and that she will come back, with more news when she gets it. I mean, Kelly needs to keep her mouth shut. She really, really needs to keep her mouth shut right now. It must be terrible for her, but telling people that she shot somebody is certainly not what needs to happen here. Absolutely not. No way. She really, really, really needs to stay quiet right now and only talk to her lawyer wherever he shows up. The next group of people we go to is Marcie, Ian, and Larry. Marcie comes to Ian's office with the contracts for the house. The house has passed the inspections, and Ian is very pleased by this and ready to go. He wants to fast track this so the house can be ready for his kids in the summertime. Marcie compliments him by calling him a good father. Marcie recommends, calling the closing attorney to make everything final. But she realizes that Ian has already done that. Then Ian asks her out on a date for dinner and drinks and is not taking no for an answer. Then, after knowing and realizing that Ian already has the keys to the house, she realizes that Ian really never needed her help at all. He found the house on his own and did all the paperwork. He's got the money ready. And, he could have saved, you know, a little bit of money by not paying her a commission. But he says that this money is an investment. She says, whatever you think you're going to get, I hope it pays off for you. And Ian is sure that it will. Then talk turns to Larry. She says that he was supposed to get the divorce, but hasn't gotten it yet and wants her money back. Then Larry slithers into the room, promising Marcie that he will secure the divorce from Randall. After he leaves, Marcie says that she likes the man, but she doesn't. Ian says, like himself and other people who work here, he feels the same way. Marcie should not trust in Larry. He is completely immoral and he lies without a conscience. He's a liar. It seems like everything that he's been saying is nothing but a lie. And I don't think she should trust him at all. It's just ridiculous to me. Absolutely ridiculous. The next two people we go to is Lucien and Eddie. Eddie comes to talk to Lucien and thanks him for helping him out of the restraints that Larry and Randall put him in. Ed says that son of a bitch had him good, but there was nothing that he could have done without Lucien's help. Eddie says that he is a good dude, and he also says that he called so many people for help, and you were the only one to come in and help him. Ed appreciates him showing up and helping him. But Lucien's only reply is, "Where is Andrew?" Ed lies and says that his Uncle Rusty has him, which we all know is an absolute lie. Lucien says that I don't trust you, I don't like you, I don't believe a word that you say. I was just doing my job, and I don't give a damn about you. Then Eddie says, what are you going to put in the incident report? Eddie doesn't want the shooting or the letter restraints to be documented. Lucien says that he will write down exactly what happened, but I would not have written anything down had you not shot at them. Then Lucien, laughs at Eddie and then jokes with him and says, everything that grown men do is their own business. Eddie assures Lucien that there will be retribution. Eddie says that it was Larry who did this. Lucien says that man is very well connected, but Eddie does not care. Then they accuse each other of hiding behind their government badges. Lucien says again not to call him ever again. He wants no part in Eddie's crimes. Ed says that we're going to have to disagree on that. He thanks him again from the bottom of his heart, shakes his hand, but Lucien's only reply to that is, where is Andrew? Ed announces that there may be a time when you need me, and he says that you can always count on me, my brother. Now, let me say this about Lucien. And I have said this before, but I just want to say it one more time. How could he be so down on Eddie for shooting at them? I mean, when Eddie tased Natalie, the first thing Lucien did was to shoot him in the chest 7 times. So you can't possibly expect Eddie not to want revenge against him when Lucien, not too long ago, was thinking about revenge himself. So, I mean, I have no problem with Eddie taking revenge on Larry and Randall. They shouldn't have done that. They should not have done that. That was really, really nothing more than a Pandora's box. It was nothing more than a Pandora's box, and whatever happens to them, they brought it on themselves. They should never, ever, ever have done that to Eddie. That was a mistake. Now, the last scene of the night, and one of my favorites, belongs to Larry, Randall, and Eddie. Larry stops by Randall's house and says Marcie fired him. He wants Randall to sign two sets of documents, the lawsuit and the divorce papers. Randall is down for the lawsuit, but he is not down for signing for the divorce. Larry says that he won't go forward with the lawsuit without the divorce. Randall says that he'll go to another attorney if it needs be. And he also wonders why Larry is doing this. Is it because he felt bad about him being caught in a lie about Marcie not being pregnant? Larry confesses truthfully. He tells the truth this time that he wants to get back in good with Randall. And that's what this is really all about for him. I think he knew that Randall would never sign for the divorce, but he needed a reason to go running back over to his house. He wants to stay in good graces with him because he's attracted to him and wants to sleep with him. He's just using these papers as a paper thin excuse just to see Randall. That's what this is all about for Larry. He's just using Marcie. He then starts to haggle with Randall, saying that if you sign for the divorce, then I will sue Brad so bad that he'll wish he was dead. Randall asks, why do you want me to sign this so badly? Larry, then asks him a question. He asks, why won't you just let this go? Randall answers, I don't want to let it go. Larry thinks that this is about control, but Randall wants, her pregnancy, Marcie's pregnancy, to be as stressful as it can possibly be. Larry asks a good question. He asks him a very good question, a question that stood out for me. He asks, do you want her to pay for what you did? Larry then concedes to giving him the lawsuit. Randall says you love that he's a piece of work and that even though you like pain, you just love to beg. Randall, signs the lawsuit document but accuses Larry of being sneaky. Yeah, Larry starts to flirt with Randall, saying, you love my sneaky ass. Larry says that he will let him know when the papers get served. Larry offers him a handshake and then tries to pull him in for a kiss, but Randall quickly backs away and Larry leaves the house saying that he loves him. It's a weird relationship those two have. In Larry's car, Larry gives a call to Ian, and he says he's going to be there soon with these documents. Then, all of a sudden, Eddie pops up out of the back seat and holds a gun to Larry's head. Larry doesn't know who it is at first, but he soon recognizes his voice. Eddie, is looking for some retribution, and apparently it's starting to happen right now. Eddie orders him to drive, and that is where the episode ends. I hope that Eddie, gets the retribution that he's looking for. I'm sick of Larry. I'm just done with him. He is nothing to me. Thank you all so much for watching my video. And come back next week for the next installment. The next episode will be entitled Hanging in the Balance. And I saw the preview and it looks really, really interesting. My MVP of the episode is Eddie because he hid in the back seat, waited for his moment, and now he has Larry in his clutches. So because of that, Eddie is my MVP. Thank you all so much for watching my video and come back next week for the next installment of If Loving You Is Wrong. If you like my video, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will be back next week. Enjoy your life as I do, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.